Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in here and say that I filmed this intro and stuff before coronavirus and COVID-19 sort of broke out, or before I even really knew about it. It was in January. And I just wanted to say I hope everyone is safe and staying home and healthy, and I wish health and safety to all of you and all of your families, and I really hope that you guys are okay. And yeah, I just wanted to put that in there before we start the video. Okay, thanks.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Lindsay and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for clicking on this video because I know I have not posted one since like September, but life's just been crazy and I started a new program and I moved and I just needed to figure some stuff out and chill out a bit, but I am really excited to start making videos again in 2020. So happy new year. I thought there's no better way to start the year than with some thrift flips. I did start filming this video actually in September before I just stopped filming, and so there's a few tank tops, but I still feel like you can wear tank tops in the winter. Yeah, alright, so I am really excited, and they are really, really easy. So I don't even think I'm using a sewing machine for any of them, so you guys will be able to do it really easily and have some new clothes yourselves. So without further ado, let's just get on into it.
Alright guys, so the first thrift flip we're doing is we're gonna do iron-on patches and some other patches onto these tank tops. I actually have 2 of the black tank tops, so we're gonna be doing 4 tank tops total. Let's get into it. Alright, so I'm gonna explain to you guys the process for the tank tops, starting with this one, and then I'll kind of just show you the other ones because it's the same process pretty much. But basically you're gonna choose your patch. So I got this little cat patch a long time ago when I was in Seattle last year, and the other patches I'm using, some of them I already had, but especially right now with the whole coronavirus and stuff, you can order them on Etsy, you can order them on Amazon. It's great if you want to order them on Etsy from small businesses. That's what I've been doing for other stuff, is ordering on Etsy. And yeah, so anyways, you're just gonna make sure you read your iron-on instructions on the back of your patch. So every patch might be different, so make sure you read it for every different patch. And then you're gonna iron it on. So I use this little bed sheet cover that I had from my sheets as like a little barrier in between the patch and the iron so that the patch doesn't burn. And then after I did the amount of time that I needed on the front, I turned it around and just ironed directly onto the shirt to help stick the patch on really well. Then I just tested it out, made sure all the corners were on, and it looked like it was ready to go. So to make it cuter, I decided to crop all of my tops because they were really long. So what I did is just tried each one on, put a little dot, drew a line, and then I took my scissors to that line, cropped it, and it was good to go. Alright guys, so same thing with the other tank tops. You're going to take your patch off. See here I have patches from all different places. I think some of these patches I had from like when I was a kid because I found them in my Nana's like drawer. You used to be able to buy so many patches from the dollar store in the early 2000s, but not anymore. But anyways, so you're just gonna get your patch and make sure you read the directions. It's different for each one. Iron it on. I recommend using the sheet over the patch so you don't burn the patch, and then ironing directly onto the back of the patch, like the inside of the shirt, so that you get the glue from it to really stick. And yeah. Also check to make sure that all the edges of your patch are all ironed down. Then same thing, I just decided to crop both of these shirts because it looks cuter. What can I say?
Perfect, perfect.
So for this patch that I bought this actually from the dollar store in September, and I thought that these were glue-on ones, like they didn't have the sticky residue. So I was going to show you how to glue on patches, but then here I'm realizing that it is iron-on. But I just decided to show you guys anyways what I would do if it was, like, if you need to glue it. So I just use this E6000 glue. I use this later as well. It's a great fabric glue. And then I would have just put the glue kind of a little bit on the edges, especially like the antennas that are like their own little pieces. Fill it in a little bit. You can probably move it around with your finger a little bit. And then you would put the patch down where you want it. And then I would also recommend using a little cardboard thing to separate the two pieces of fabric. Otherwise, they might stick together if you have to leave it for like 8 hours. But yeah, that's how you would glue it. But yeah, I ended up just ironing it on anyways because it was an iron-on patch, and then I cropped it. But that's that. Alright, so I have seen this top, this Brandy Melville top, like in so many places, especially like in the last few months. Yeah, it's really cute. It's called a Vivian top, but I just thought it looked kind of like a button-up top cropped like as into a t-shirt and into a crop top, and I thought it was really cute. So I actually went to the thrift store like a long time ago and found this shirt, this green one, and thought it looked pretty good. And then more recently I found this black mesh one, and I thought that they would be really cute to turn into these like cropped Vivian tops from Brandy Melville. So I decided to do that. Let's see how it turned out. Okay, so I noticed that the Vivian top, all of them had 3 buttons, but for this green top, the buttons seemed a bit closer together, so I decided to keep 4 buttons for this one. So what I did is I just cut off the button right above where I wanted to cut because it was hard to put the ruler there, but then I realized that I'll just trace one of the lines because it's like a gingham top. So I just traced like one of the white lines all the way across, and then I cropped it right there. Then I undid all the buttons so that it was open and turned it inside out so that I could put the hem in. Make sure it's turned inside out if you want to fold inwards so that you don't see the raw hem. But basically, I kind of looked at it, I counted 6 lines up, that's kind of how I measured it, and then I pinned it all in place. So as you see here, I just folded it once up to that 6 line mark all the way across. And then after that, I just took it to the sewing machine and did a straight stitch all the way across from there. And it was done and ready to go. Alright, so for this top, I actually kept just the 3 buttons because they were a bit farther apart. So both the tops were around the same size, but it just depended on the buttons. But anyways, this one, I used my white eyeliner. You can use soap, you can use other things to draw that line and then crop it. But I realized when I cropped it that I forgot that mesh material doesn't really fray usually too much. And I thought that maybe rolling it would look too bulky, so I decided to just leave it cropped. And it was good to go. So there you go. So easy. Okay, so obviously cardigans are super in. I love them. I've made a video before, I'll link it, of 4 ways to make Brandy Melville cardigans. But I saw this one and thought it was so cool. It's basically like 2 pieces. The top is more ribbed and the bottom is different. So I thought that if I cropped it in a way, it might look pretty good. So all you need is scissors for this one. So then I just looked at where the shirt ended with the buttons and where it started opening up. And as you can see, it's 2 different fabrics that almost look weaved together. So this actually was super handy. So how I started was that I just cut where I wanted it to be. So I realized that I would have to take out the last button because it would look really weird with like a button right at the end of the cardigan. So I started by cutting into the cardigan where the two pieces of fabric, the two different pieces of fabric met. And then as I started doing that, I realized the thread that held the two together, and so instead of cutting through it, I decided to just weave the thread out. And I was really happy I noticed this pretty close into it, because it made the top part, which I'm keeping, like completely hemmed already. So like if I had cut into that, it might have ruined it, but it's completely finished. So all I had to do is pull the thread out all the way through. Now the two parts where the buttons were, I had to like cut through, but other than that, I just cut through those two parts with my scissors and unweaved the thread with my fingers, and it made a completely finished little mini crop top. It's so cute, little cropped cardigan. And then I also just cut the button off of the very end there so that it wasn't hanging with nothing to be attached to. And then I also just cleaned up the edges a little bit, because after I cut the button, some of it was a little uneven. So I cut out the extra and it was good to go. It looks so good. Let's check it out. Alright, so I've had these jeans for a while and they actually fit like my waist and butt really nice, but I just wasn't sure about them. I wanted to spice it up a bit, you know? So let's check out what I did. So I decided to fray these jeans, and this is so easy and looks so good. So all I did was I laid my jeans out, I looked at the bottom, and I didn't draw a line or anything. I just cut that bottom hem right off. Now the jeans weren't too short for me, so I didn't want to cut more than that off, but if you, or sorry, not too long for me, but if your jeans are really long for you and say you're a bit short, this is actually a great way to like cut even a little higher up so the jeans fit you better. So then I just wanted to show you guys really quick that you can fray them yourself with like using the blade of scissors. You can also try using tweezers to pick out all the little white pieces, and then it'll just leave you with like the blue pieces, which is a vibe too. I've done that to shorts, but I decided for these ones I just wanted to throw them in the wash for that good old regular natural fraying. So that's what I did. Here are the pants. I'm gonna throw them in. Let's see. Yay, they look so good. Let's see the other one. Very nice. I like just like the natural fray that the washer does instead of doing it yourself. I think it just looks so good. Let's try them on. Alright, so for the last few thrift flips, I just wanted to hem some shirts that I thought would look better hemmed than cropped. So I want to show you guys two different ways to hem your own shirts that are super easy. So this first one is this really cute Cuba t-shirt. The material is like nice and it's thicker, and it's definitely vintage, and it's like ribbed. So I thought that this would be a great shirt to use fabric glue for. Plus for this shirt, I thought it would be nice to not see a hem and just have the finished black at the end. Instead of seeing like the stitching. So I decided to try this. So basically all I did was I marked where I wanted to have the shirt end roughly when I tried it on, and then I just turned the shirt inside out and put that dot on the inside so that I knew what I was working with, because you got to turn it inside out so that the hem's on the inside. So then I just cropped off a little bit, enough so that when I fold it up, that the part that I marked would be just under the hem, so just on the inside. I had to crop it twice to get it right, but I think this turned out good. Then I just used the glue and sort of spread it out onto the bottom of the shirt there. I did a line at first and I spread a little bit with my fingers just so that it really got covered good, and then I put the shirt up and glued it down. And then I just tried my best to keep the same amount glued all the way across. You could draw a line on the inside of your shirt and make sure that the glue goes up to there if you wanted to make sure, but I think mine turned out pretty even, and that's what I did. So for my glue, I had to wait 8 hours for it to dry, so I put it away. I actually think I put it in the sun on my kitchen table. And then the next day I checked it and it looked so good. So let's see how it turned out. Alright, so for these last two tops, I decided to hem them using a sewing machine. You can use your own hands. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can hand stitch it. It's definitely going to be faster with a sewing machine, but you can do it without. And you could also use it with the glue method. That's totally fine, but these two shirts were a bit more stretchy, so I wanted to sew them down so that it would be good. So I'll just explain what I did basically with this first one. So same thing, I marked roughly where I wanted the shirt to end and then cut a little bit lower than that. And again, for this one, I tried it on after I cut it and I decided I wanted it a little bit shorter. So I redrew the line and cut it again. And you'll notice that I actually did a little bit of a diagonal on the two ends to go up a bit because I noticed that's kind of how the shirt was. And I did the same thing for the next one too. So I think it's good to put a little diagonal at the top. I don't know. It just seemed like it would turn out better. So then I marked on the inside where I wanted the shirt to roughly end, and then I turned the shirt inside out. And I know I wanted to do a rolled hem, so basically I would fold it up once and then again so that the raw edges didn't show. So there you go, I folded up once and then I fold it again, and I don't know if you can see, but there's that little white dot. So now I know there's nothing showing on the front regarding the dot that I used to like mark how short I wanted it. So that was perfect. So what I did, same thing, is I just rolled it all the way around and I tried to make it the same amount, like the same thickness, the same whatever, as best as possible. It's probably about 1 centimeter, maybe a half an inch. I didn't want this one too thick. And then I just took it to the sewing machine.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. And thanks so much for sticking around. I know it's been a while, but I'm really excited for the videos to come in 2020. I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.